The Knicks are down to their last chance on Thursday night, facing elimination from the playoffs by a Pacers team who seems to have the Knicks all but figured out. I have questions, and I hope Jonathan Macri of Knicks Film School can find some answers. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on this afternoon. A lot to take away. Game 4, it was not kind to a number of guys, namely Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. What are your thoughts on the Villanova Wings' struggles in this series?
My thoughts on their struggles are very much reflective of my thoughts on their struggles overall this season. These three players were put together, to accomplish a very specific purpose for this team, and that is to bolster a defense that contains two very weak defenders in Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. And I think over the course of the year, we learned that there was really not much synergy developing between the three of them in terms of their ability to bolster that defense around those two weak spots. And I think that's been very true over the course of the series. I just looked it up before. In these 4 games, these three have played together for 81 minutes. They're giving up almost 130 points per 100 possessions, which is an atrocious number. And on offense, I mean, things are not really going much better. It's hard for me to put the blame on any one of the three, although personally, even with Josh Hart having the worst game last night, my focus is on Mikal Bridges and the fact that he has underwhelmed really throughout this entire series, hasn't been the most efficient shooter, and you haven't felt his impact specifically on defense when he's guarded Tyrese Halliburton, who obviously had the night of his life last night. And I think that's as big a reason for as anything about why the Knicks defense has struggled.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of criticism for Tibbs after that and those defensive struggles. Did the Knicks' lack of lineup and coverage experiments during the regular season come back to bite them so far against the Pacers?
It's hard to think anything other than that. This is a team that did not switch much throughout the entire regular season. In fact, they switched possessions, on pick and roll coverages less than any team in the league. And sure enough, now that they're playing an offense that is as sophisticated as any offense in the league, that does a lot of actions where it's not as simple to switch as, maybe you saw against the Boston Celtics, who gave in to what the Knicks wanted, which was a lot of isolation possessions. The Pacers are making it more difficult, and the Knicks do not have that much experience with that, and I think you're seeing that now. And then you go into the rotation decisions, and we're seeing lineups here with their season on the line that we've never seen touch the floor together before. Obviously, the starting lineup change. We're seeing DeLon Wright. We're seeing Landry Shamet, and it really does seem like Tom Thibodeau is grasping for straws, which is kind of inexplicable when you think about the fact that he had 82 games with this roster that was mostly healthy, give or take a Mitchell Robinson. So I think there is definitely some blame to go around here with the coaching staff.
Absolutely. And I know it's not over yet, but it's hard to not look ahead. If the Knicks do indeed lose this series, do you think there will be changes on the horizon for the coaching staff or the roster?
I know the sentiment after the Boston series was that everybody would be safe because you dethroned the defending champs. That's the team that this group was put together to beat. They beat that group. Everything was great. I don't know how you could go into next season with the exact same group, coaching staff, roster together, and just assume things are going to be better. They beat Boston despite the fact that they played very poorly in the first 2 games of that series, and then obviously had 2 pretty rough losses as well. In this Pacers series, their defense has not shown any signs of being able to hold up. The offensive numbers are good, but there's not a whole lot of offensive synergy. You look at the Pacers offense versus the Knicks offense, and it's kind of like night and day. I imagine if they do not come out of this, the blame will fall on the coach, and he will be the one to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a major roster change or two on top of that change, if, again, they don't pull out the series.
And there's still a chance they could. I don't want to give up quite yet. So do you think they have a shot to overcome this 3-1 deficit?
They've won 3 home games in the playoffs, although they do have a losing record at home. And obviously they lost the first 2 home games to Indiana. So it's not like going home to MSG is definitely going to produce a win. That said, this is a prideful group. This is a tough group. This is a resilient group. And I know Jalen Brunson did not have his best game in Game 4 in Indiana. But I have to think that he is going to do everything in his power to make sure that their season does not end on their home floor. So if I had to wager a guess, I would probably say they win Game 5 and then eventually go lose in Game 6 in Indiana. But I hope that I'm wrong about this, because I would love their season to extend further than that.
Yeah, of course. We want more Knicks basketball if possible. See if Captain Clutch and the crew can reverse their luck at home on Thursday night. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.